Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with Bet Victor. Now, surprise, surprise, the weather has played havoc with us yet again. Unfortunately, we have lost Ascot's card, which means that we don't get the clash between John Bon and El Fabiolo in the Clarence House. Chase will have to wait for that another day, but fortunately, we do still have the Saturday card at Lingfield as part of the Winter Million Festival. So, on this week's show, we're going to be previewing that, and of course, I'm going to be previewing it alongside the usual company of Declan and Sam Boswell. Dec, I mean, what can we even say about the weather now?
Well, Mother Nature's clearly not a friend of the show, is she?
Ew.
She is just, she's done it to us again. So, yeah, it's another week of being chameleon-like and trying to adapt this time to the all-weather.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to be fair, it's the nature of the job, isn't it, really, in this game, that we should be able to adapt and we should be versatile between disciplines, Sam. So you brushed up on the all-weather?
Yeah, the proof will be in our tipping, won't it? But a big shout-out to all those racing yards, because just because we don't have jumps racing doesn't mean that those horses aren't getting exercised every morning. We've seen some brilliantly cold pictures going up on social media this week, so shout-out to all the hard-working stable staff, lads and lasses, that keep the show on the road very much. But let's hope we can turn our hand to something slightly different.
Yeah, hopefully so. And we do still have Cheltenham chat, of course, towards the end of the show, and the Bet Boost page. Sam, if you wanted to give a mention to that again.
Yeah, it's back. Last week, I think, mine was the most popular, which didn't actually end up going too well for Blood Destiny, but he is still in the Arkle at least. Previous boosts are still on the site as well, and we've got 3 fresh ones coming later, including one that I really like. And it's mine.
Yeah, oh, nicely done and nicely teed up and teased for that. Right, we will get into that and to all of our other races in due course. But a reminder, as ever, to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, our first race, it comes at Lingfield on the all-weather. It's the 2 o'clock, a 0 to 95 handicap for 4-year-olds and over 1 mile. So Dec, for very much back with the all-weather here. Ryan Moore back on these shores as well, but who wins?
Yeah, look, a good little race. We've got a full field of 12 here with 18.3k going to the winner. So fair play to Lingfield. They're after putting on some good prize money this weekend, as I suppose the name suggests, the Winter Million. But yeah, looking forward to this race. 3 or 4 horses here like to go forward, but kind of a lot of them like to track the pace. So it could early kind of be a decent gallop and then settle down into a bit of a tactical race. But the horse I like is Planted Dream. He's going to need a good ride from Rab Halvlin now because he's drawn in stall 1. But I just loved his run last time out behind Talus Evolver at Kempton. Just looked like a horse, even though he's a 9-year-old now, looked on great terms with him. So travelled for fun. Was a little bit unlucky how I thought the race played out last time out. Just got a little bit too far behind. But he still loomed up 1.5 out, looked a big danger before his run slightly petered out. I think it was probably just a little bit of an inefficient ride that got him beat. But he returns to Lingfield, a track that he loves. He's run here 4 times and he's got form figures of 2, 1, 2, 2, and he's got a £3 swing in the rates with the Ryan Moore ridden horse. So I'm hoping that will get us, or me actually, off to a good start on Saturday.
Yeah, not to assume that we're always going to side with you.
Exactly.
In this one, but you are getting a nice price about that horse to reverse the form with the current favourite. Hopefully then, well, no, not hopefully, actually, just 5 to 1. You've got me agreeing with you now too. But you agreement with him, Sam?
No, absolutely not. I'll be cheering for Dragon Icon. I'm an absolute sucker for an unexposed horse, and I just think this horse ticks plenty of boxes. We're seeing the win previously at Lingfield and definitely has a run style that suits the track. The debut win at Kempton was pretty impressive going back a little while. I mean, you just have to look at the form, which seems to my eye to stack up quite nicely. Balance Play was in 3rd from his debut run, now rated over 100 for Rafe Beckett. There's plenty of substance to that. He's a really nice horse. Roger Varian ticking over well. I think you can put a line through the German 2000 Guineas run. I guess the question mark is we haven't seen him since then, but Roger's ticking over nicely. He's got a good record on the all-weather, and the horse, interestingly, gets a hood for the first time. And I think Roger's stats with horses that put headgear on for the first time, particularly hoods, are really strong as well. I thought 6 to 1 was very fair, and I was prepared to go for an unexposed angle. But I did like Claire and Dan Kubler's horse as well in here. I thought at the different end of the scale, similar kind of price. Al Ruffer I thought was a curious one. They certainly do well with these horses they pick up. But for me, I was siding with the unexposed horse.
Yeah, and you say about the first-time hood. I also read that somewhere this week, that first-time headgear and notably the hoods for the Varian yard is very interesting. So for all that I'm trying to boost both of your selections here, I'm disagreeing with both of you because I thought for this opener for us, this was a chance to just have a bit of a swing at once. So I'm pleased to see 14 14-1 about Starsheba. Now, I know he's running off of bottom weight in this one, but I'm still expecting plenty more to come from him for the Mick Appleby yard, despite being a 7-year-old now. Only 3 starts for this yard after leaving David O'Mara. A winning stable debut that he made, though, in December when he dropped back to 6 furlongs, but he's held his form well in 2 subsequent starts, and he was up in grade for those runs, so they just didn't end up in the same result. But now down in grade here, down at £1 as well, also back to his preferred trip, and only £1 above his last winning mark, back at a course and distance he's previously won over. So 14-1. He's sort of one of the unsexy profiled horses. We know everything about Starsheba by now, but
Katie Tracey swinging for the fences with that big bat.
It won't last. Don't you worry. Trust me, as we go through the card, it does not last. So I thought I may as well go and big start with Starsheba for me, Sam.
Dragon Icon for me.
And
Unexposed handicap debutant.
And Plant a Dream for me, please.
Lovely, right. 3 different selections then in our opener. You wouldn't expect anything less from us, especially when we're switching codes to the all-weather as well. But do let us know your own selections in the comments section below. Now, before we move on to our next race, a reminder to like and subscribe to the At The Races YouTube channel, and also hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, on to the 235. Now, this is a 0 to 105 handicap for 4-year-olds and over 5 furlongs. But Sam, who wins this one?
I've got a lot of time for the favourite at the top of the market, but at the prices, I thought Zarzini was really curious in there at a double-figure price of 10-1. He's a 7-year-old, he's not getting any younger, but his record on the all-weather surface is actually pretty good, although he's not won. 6 starts on it, never out the first 3. Now dropped £1 to 84. I just thought this was a really intriguing runner. Gets blinkers for the first time as well, which I think will be very helpful given the draw, because you're going to have to get around from 10, which isn't going to be the easiest, but blinkers first time. I just thought that the difference in price was just far too big. The favourite I've got a lot of respect for, like I say, Stuart Williams definitely is just one of these trainers when he gets these horses. I mean, going for what, 5 in a row? I mean, that's pretty impressive. But I just thought the swing at the race, it was 3rd last time out, and I was trying to find something at a bit of an each way play, and at 10-1 I thought I'd side with the older horse this time. Slightly different tact than we did in the last race in terms of experience, because this horse has been there, done that, and sort of got the T-shirt. But the all-weather record, still only the 6 runs on it. I think there could be a bit more to come with the blinkers.
Yeah, despite being a 7-year-old then, like I say, first time here again to reverse the form with the favourite. So taking your approach from our last race deck is Sam. So you're mirror imaging in that way.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of respect for the Fav as well. He's clearly been watching his stablemate Quinal's last year, racking up all, what was it, 6 or 7 timer, and he's trying to do the same. Look, fair play to Lingfield again, you know, a full field of 10. I think there's over 26k to the winner against a good, decent prize money. It looks like a race that's going to be run at a very strong gallop. You're going to need to kind of travel around here well. And a horse who fits that profile for me is a Clear Point of the Charlie Fellows yard, who have been going very well in recent weeks as well. Now, Harry Davis is going to ride, and he is a forward goer in a race that has an awful lot of pace. So Harry will just need to get him into a good rhythm and get his breathing right. But he's been in good form this season. He's hard fit, clearly loves it on the all-weather. And, you know, looking back at his 2-year-old career, once upon a time he was sent off 12-1 for a gym crack. So, you know, he's clearly from an early day showed plenty. He's been in good order, like I say. Is his first run at Lingfield a little bit of a worry, but he seemed to kind of wing around Wolverhampton a few starts back when he won very well. So I'm hoping the track won't be an issue. So, yeah, Clear Point for me. Are you with me or against me, Katie Tracey?
Oh, again, all 3 of us are disagreeing. You know what I am really liking, though? It's the fact that we've had a transition now to the all-weather for our Saturday card. It means we've got no end of replays to look back at. This is fantastic.
Well, now you give me the chance to plug the At The Races site, don't you?
There you go, take it away.
Well, look, at theraces.com, we have all the sectionals from our tracks, don't we? And like the sectional data. I don't know about you guys, because I don't follow the flat at this time of year because there's too much jumps racing. But the sectional data and the sectional analysis on there was a big help to me trying to preview these races. So yeah, at theraces.com for all your all-weather needs.
Nicely done, and the pair of us totally agree with that as as well, and it was well utilised for this week's show. Diamond Spirit, though, for me, despite all of those aids in at my disposal, I still came back around to the favourite. I think that's a really fair price about this horse. You've both just said Stuart Williams is the master. When he gets these handicappers on a roll, a la Quinault, then they really just they take an awful lot of stopping. Now, he's going to have to go some way to get that 6-race winning streak of Quinault, but this lad has won his last 4. Now, he does have to show this improvement back around Lingfield again, because, of course, those wins did come at Wolverhampton and Chelmsford. But, of course, he has also run 3 times at Lingfield. He's won over this course and distance, second over this course and distance, before a lesser effort than last time out for him when last seen at Lingers. But, of course, the win last time out was a really likeable one. And the way that this horse shapes, he just finishes off his races so well. Like, this at Lingfield should suit him far more than Wolverhampton even last time out. So, Diamond Spirit, still a fair price for me. Dec?
Clear point for me, please.
And Sam?
Zaz, you need to blast out from the stalls in those blinkers and not look back.
You can give me a nice lead.
I'd say a nice toe then for Diamond Spirit down the centre of the track on the third wave, a la Lingfield style. So thanks for teeing that up nicely then for us, Sam. Right, again, we have disagreed, but do let us know your own selections in the comment section below as we move on to the 3:10. Now, this is Lingfield's feature race on Saturday. This is the Winter Oaks Fillies handicap, a £100,000 0 to 105 handicap for 4-year-olds and over 10 furlongs at 3:10. So, Dec, which of these fillies comes out on top?
Yeah, this is the big race of the day, but it didn't fill. I think they can have 14 runners around here, but we've only got 8. In terms of pace, I can see Twirling going forward from 1, Miss Bluebell from 2, and Daisy from 6 as well. I reckon with the first bend coming up quite quick, there's going to be a strong early gallop up to the first bend and maybe in the first couple of furlongs, but then I can see the pace really settling down and becoming a tactical race, and you're going to need horses with gears, and that really a horse that looks like it'd be set up for the race is Oh So Grand, which is a nice name for an Irish accent, I always think. But this filly was so impressive last time out. Like, it's definitely worth going onto attheraces.com and watching this race from the start. She had a mountain to climb when they turned in for home, and not only that, she must have been 6 or 7 wide to boot, but she finished off her race like a train. Her final furlong was her quickest furlong of the race. I think she clocked 10.71. You know, I wouldn't say it's rare, but it's quite unusual and probably a good sign of a horse that their last furlong is their quickest. She just looks like she's in great order at the moment. She's got a big pedigree. She's bred to be better than 89. So yeah, and she just looks in great order for a team who won the race last year. So yeah, up the Oh So Grand.
Oh, ditto, yeah. And like you see, for last year's winner, Allegala, she's following basically the same path as her. Same yard. She won the Winter Oaks trial then on her previous start. Has come straight off the back of it and bidding for a hat-trick as well in this race, as Allegala was previously. So I know Simon and Ed Crisford, they've got 2 runners in here with Twirling as well, but I'm still expecting Oh So Grand to be the number 1. And I still can't believe that from the RPR that she posted last time out, she's only been given a £4 rise. Like, she is the one that is open to any amount of further improvement out of these who could be a real star. So finally, we've got some agreement. Oh So Grand for the pair of us.
It's interesting, because I was just going back through her video. She was a prominent racer and a front runner earlier in her career, but the last 2 starts, they've gone to more kind of patient tactics. She's been coming from midfield and kind of from held up positions, and it really looks to have suited her. But enough about our selection. Sammy, who are you with?
Well, do I make it the hat-trick? I'm also close to making it the hat-trick, because I think you've both made really compelling cases. I understand the angle, following the same route as last year's winner. It makes a lot of sense, and the team are in great form, which is why I like Twirling. I was sort of on the side of the price was the thing for me. Yeah. I thought with the dead 8 in here, I thought to myself, we could probably get a really cheeky each-way bet on Twirling. Ryan Moore comes in for the ride, and listen, Harry Burns, I should say, did nothing wrong last time out. I was a shade disappointed that she couldn't cling on when 3rd at Lingfield last time out. But you go back through, the debut run was just very impressive, and she's a big horse as well. She's certainly, you wouldn't want to be sort of going up sides against her, because I think turning in, she'll get the better of you. I'm expecting Ryan Moore to have to get a bit more improvement out of the horse off this mark to feature in sort of the first 2. But I think maybe with the slightly smaller field, it can defy this Lingfield thing of coming from behind and slingshotting through that bend. I think maybe going from the front might suit, in this race in particular, if Ryan can ride those sectionals well. Let's be honest, you know, his most successful weather track is Lingfield when you look at the stats, but, you know, he can win anywhere. I've got no doubt that I'm lucky to have the best jockey in the race on my horse. The Crisford's going well. I just thought at the prices, a bit of an each way stab. I wanted something to try and get that favourite beat, but I think you're on to a fairly good thing. Maybe with the Crisford reverse forecast. How about that?
That's what I was going to say. What price would you be giving us on a Crisford winner then for this, or even if we could get that forecast? But Ryan Moore hasn't been riding in this country all that much. Will he be aware, stall one, that dead rail? You've wanted to stay off of that at
He'll be fine,
Lingfield.
Kate. This is Ryan Moore. You think, honestly, of all the jockeys to lose sleep over not being in this country, it won't be Ryan Moore. He'll be absolutely fine.
It's sacrilege from Katie Tracey here.
Got to put it out there, haven't you? Yeah, just to give Ryan a heads up, dead rail at Lingfield. don't want to be there then. So, yeah, I will happily give my jockey advice into Ryan Moore, of course. Right, OK, that is a look forward then to the all-weather. Now we're going to look further forward. Hopefully we get Lingfield's card on Sunday, because we are back to the jumpers then, and the feature race of which is, of course, the Fleur De Lys. This comes up at 3 o'clock. 5-year-olds and over 2 miles 6 furlongs. Now, we don't have prices yet because we don't have declarations yet even. So we're just taking a bit of an early look for this really valuable race. So, Sam, who was your idea of the winner?
Yeah, this is interesting, isn't it? And you've got real quality in the race, in the field. And I kind of wanted to have a stab at a horse that was potentially still on the upgrade, and I thought Fugitive running here was very curious. I thought, obviously, we saw him just get the better of Bryony Frost at Cheltenham in December, and I've always liked his horse. I just think there's no question marks to be had around him, whereas I think the ones that you guys like, there's a little bit of a question mark to ask. We'll touch on Protectorat, who, is he a bit of a spent force at 9? Is he he just doesn't feel like he's going to ever quite fulfil that potential that I felt he had. I genuinely thought at some stages he was going to be a Gold Cup contender and was proven wrong. I'll leave Long Preze to you guys, but I would just question, first start of the season, it's all about going ahead with him. It's about getting him back on track. I don't think he necessarily will be losing anything for not winning this, if that makes sense.
Well, I will happily take this one up, Deck, if that's OK, to bat it back across the sofa here, because when you've got a horse that has had issues that Longpress has had throughout his career, one thing you can't be risking is having them only 80% fit for their reappearance start. So that is something that I'm not too perturbed by whatsoever. You're asking for trouble if you're sending a horse that's had issues not 100% or as close to that fit. Now, of course, he's got the long-term aims then, but you also look at his record fresh, and it is a solid one. He won his reappearance in 2022. In 2021, his British debut after more than 2 years off. So the only time he's been beaten after, well, we'll say a break, was his career debut, which can be forgiven for any sort of horse. He's the highest rated horse in here, yet because of the penalty structure of it, he is still only carrying 11 stone 6. So Protectorat is carrying 11 stone 10, and he is got £5 to find on Longpress from their official ratings. So I am not perturbed by that whatsoever.
What about the fact the yard have gone a little bit quiet? We haven't had too much jumps racing in the last couple of weeks, in fairness. But Venetia had that real spell, didn't she, before Christmas?
Well, she does.
She's been hot since October the whole way through, to be fair to her.
But then she always has that lull, doesn't she? She always has that sort of, she almost hits it like a month earlier than she usually does. And then she hits a bit of a lull and sort of people start to question the form.
I'm convinced that Yard wasn't firing all cylinders last year. I don't know, did they have a small little issue? There was so many horses that they ran last year were always kind of like behind the bridle, and Charlie Deutsch was squeezing them and changing his hands very early in races. But this year they seem to be more on it,
They're running away in most races.
Well, yeah, exactly. Just kind of really grabbing the bridle in a really good place. But look, to be fair to Sam, you know, you've got to pick holes, I think, in odds-on shots all the time. Now, look, I'm with Longpress. I think it'll be great to have him back, but, you know, Sam's right to point out he's coming back from a little bit of an injury. I did go back and have a look at kind of various stable tours at the start of the season. It sounds like it wasn't a serious injury and they just gave him all the time in the world. And we shouldn't forget he's been entered up in quite a few races earlier in the season, King George's, Tingle Creeks. But it sounds like while he's kind of been fit at home, he just hasn't been sparking. So I'm hoping Connections are really rewarded for their patience. Because look, this guy like won a rehearsal chase. So what was it, 164 he won it off? And like he was running a huge huge race in the King George. Again, it's what we shouldn't forget was the very, very best of Braveman's game. You know, and he was coming out second best at the time when he was really soft on seat. But like, I went back and watched that race last night. It was a seriously good run, given like the amount of times he jumped left in the race was crazy. You said the Lingfield race is a good fit for him. I agree. I think 2 mile 6 is a good fit. The weights of the race are a good fit as well, and going left-handed is a good fit as well. So connections are clearly eyeing up the Gold Cup, which is fair, but I'm very surprised he wasn't left in the Ryanair, given he was coming to maybe the end of his tether in the King George. But look, I'm a lover of the Ryanair. Lots of people hate it, but I love it. But they're going for gold, and good on them.
Yeah, definitely so. And like I say, dependent on where he goes and for the Cheltenham, there could be a potential Antepost play. But we're both with Lon Press, and Sam, you're going to be trying to take him on.
Yeah, on this occasion, I think he's a cracking horse. I completely agree. But Fugitive for me comes here fit and well, and he's got to step forward again to win this. But well, look, let's just see.
Oh, let's see then. Again, a little bit of agreement for at least some of us anyway on the sofa here. But do let us know your own selections for the Fleur De Lys at Lingfield on Sunday in the comment section below. Fingers crossed that it all goes ahead. Now, we're going to be heading over to the Skypad to give you more of our Cheltenham Antepost plays as well as our best bets for the weekend. Right, it's that time of the week again where we put up more Cheltenham Festival Antepost bets. So, Sam, where are we looking this week?
The race formerly known as the Ballymore. Obviously, they're after new sponsors, but it's a cracking race on paper, and I've got a horse that I really like. As ever, the boosts for all three of ours will be on the site. Actually got some of the old ones still left up there as well if people want to get involved, so do check them out. But let's talk about why I think this horse is overpriced. I thought he was overpriced before we put the boost in. Gidley Park for Harry Fry in the race known as the Ballymore to us at the moment. I think this horse is an excellent type. We're seeing him in action here at Newbury, where I was there that day. I don't think this side of the sea I've seen a more impressive novice hurdle effort. Go back to his first start. He's only had the one run in bumpers where he beat a very, very good horse that's now ended up with Ben Pauling, the jukebox man. He's ended up rated pretty highly. Obviously, we saw him run in the Challow as well. This fella, though, going up in trip, really seemed to bring the best out of him. The win at Exeter showed he's got plenty of speed as well, because that came over 2 miles. I really like him for this race. He's a double-figure price, which I can't quite believe. If you want a conventional bet on him as well, we're 4 places each way on that race. But we're going to boost him, and I really love him. I think he's an absolutely fantastic price. He's got a very difficult favourite to get the better of if Willie Mullins' Ballyburn turns up here. But 14 to 1, that's huge for me. So, yeah, there's my boost.
14 to 1, like I say, it is, of course, the Bearing Bingham. Is that its traditional name? Yeah, formerly known as the Ballymore for now. Anyway, hopefully they'll have a sponsor by the time the Cheltenham Festival comes on. But 14 to 1, make sure to utilise the QR code on screen there or at theraces.com/weekend winners if you prefer to use the site instead. Good case made, Dec. Where are you going?
I am also going for one of the novice hurdles this week, but it's going to be the race that kicks off the festival, which the Supreme. And I'm going to go with a horse who I think is dividing opinion. So this will be interesting to see how this is received. But I think Ilan Antique for the Willie Mullins yard has got Supreme written all over him. Now, he ran very well last Friday in the Lawlor's Lace. He jumped very well. You can see him there. He's a big horse. He's going to be a fantastic chaser. But dare I say it, there's shades of energy about this lad in terms of him just being a big high cruiser. I think he's tailor-made for the Supreme. I wouldn't say he had complete run of the race in the Lawlor's of Lace last time out, but he didn't go overly strong and he was outstayed late. I thought, he changed his legs in the last kind of 150 yards and just looked to be getting tired. I think once they come back in trip and make maybe even more use of him, it could be he could be really suited to the Supreme. He just looks like a horse to me when the Mullins team really gets stuck into him on the run up to the festival. I think he'll get even sharper and travel stronger. So yeah, for a horse who jumps well, has a high cruising speed, is trained by Willie Mullins, and he goes in the Supreme. Yeah, what more do you want? And the other thing we should say is I'm going to back him each way. I know it's a little bit risky, but our friends at Bet Victor are offering 4 places for all the novice hurdle races, which I think is a cracking offer.
Yeah, and again, you can see on screen there that Il Atlantique 22 to 1 has been boosted. That's massive, isn't it? And then for the each way play as well, the 4 places on offer, that looks a big price, and especially down in trip with that cruising speed.
Yeah, and I know it's not like we're people are going to think we're paid to plug this Bet Victor offer, but I genuinely think that's a cracking offer.
Yeah.
You awake at night, you text me saying, "Is this right?" And I said, "Yeah, it is."
It was a bit late now if it wasn't, so we're going to have to hope that it was. So again, both of you have made really good cases here. I feel a little bit unoriginal now with my own selection because he is towards the head of the market. Now it's Irish Point in the Stayers Hurdle. I've been waiting for the green light. That's all I wanted from Gordon Elliott. Because of course I had the concerns. After he won the Jack de Bromhead Christmas Hurdle at Leopardstown, Gordon Elliott was saying, well, I'm not sure if we're going to actually run him at Cheltenham because of course they've got Tia Hoopu, they've got last year's winner Saya de Burley. Would they be throwing a third dart at the race? But I think he's the most talented of all of them. And he proved that up in trip. I've been waiting to see him up in trip. He was a Stayers Hurdle contender for me at the start of the season after his Aintree win, signing off last season. And I just think that he has so much more to offer over this trip. So wanted the green light. We got that this week. So as soon as Gordon Elliott came out and said he'll probably run all three, I knew exactly where I was going to go then for my anti-post play, an Irish Point. I have got one extra point there, 5-1 it has been boosted, but for this race I still think that that's actually a very fair boost indeed. Now again, make sure to utilise the QR code or at theraces.com/weekend winners to take advantage of all of those bet boosts. And again, we want to hear your Cheltenham Antepost plays in the comments section below, so make sure to let us know as we look ahead to the more immediate future with our best bets of this weekend. And Dec, you're up first.
Yes, we are going to keep it pretty simple because we've covered the nap and the next best. The nap is going to be Also Grand in the Winter Oaks. Just looks like a filly at the top of her game for the Connections, who won this race last year, and she's got a wonderful pedigree as well. She's definitely bred to be better than her mark, and she's got course and distance form. Now we take a big drop in trip for Clear Point. He's just another horse who looks in great order at the moment for the Charlie Fellows team. Hasn't run at Lingfield before, but he showed an awful lot of pace in the race. If he could get a lead and if Harry Dares can get him to switch off and get into a nice rhythm, I think he will go close. And then the long shot is also going to come in the Winter Oaks at a double figure price, just scraping in for the long shot there. But I do like Eleanor Cross for the Balding team. This is going to be her first run in a handicap. She's bred to be a lot better than her mark as well. She's bi-pivotal out of a Galileo mare. She's doing a lot right. She's got course and distance form, and the race that she was third in last time over this course and distance was franked by the horse who ran second in that race. So yeah, I think she could go well at an each way price as well. Just barely an each way price, Mike.
10-1.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
After this weekend and the amount of race meetings we've lost, we will happily give you 10-1 for a long shot. Sam?
Yeah, I've got my fingers and toes crossed that Navan goes ahead because that's where my nap's going to run. And I was lucky enough to hand the trophy to Connections for the Harvard guy, and he's a really interesting runner here. He hadn't shown too much last year and then suddenly seemed to improve for going a bit further and just continue to impress this season. He's going for 3 in a row, and I think Connections had mentioned after that race a possible tilt at a race at the DRF, but they're choosing to come here instead, and I think they'll probably find that they can make it an easy enough win for a horse that's continued to improve, and I'll just say keep your eye on for the rest of the season. Twirling, I've already covered off why I think she could potentially just get the better of her stablemate, who's the favourite there. Ryan Moore hopefully can give a master class and get her to win from the front. Very big filly. I think she'll go well. Curious to see if she's well treated. I think go back to that debut run, the second and the fourth for Godolphin have both gone on to achieve enough to suggest that 6-1 could be overpriced. And then my long shot, again like Declan, was a bit of a struggle this week, so I put up Sahani, who I quite like in that 235 at Lingfield at 10-1. The old boy with those blinkers first time to blast off from the front and not see another rival.
You're hoping the pace is going to hold up plenty then, and I like your nap though as well. In another life, you could have easily been a Harvard guy, Sam. So yeah, hopefully we'll see. We'll see how that goes at Navan then. Now my own best bets for this weekend. I'm agreeing with Dec because my nap is also oh so grand in the Winter Oaks Fillies handicap to hopefully follow the same path as her stablemate from last year, Alla Gala. Bring up the hat trick. Plenty more to come off of a mark of 89 still. Back at a course and distance, she won the trial race over. £4 rise is very fair. Draw of 3 should give her just enough room off of that dead inside rail as well. Next best is going to be Diamond's Spirit. This is in the 5 furlong handicap. Another handicap improver for the Stuart Williams yard, just like Quinault in his bid for a 5-timer. And I'm expecting a return to Lingfield to suit him much more than his wins at Wolves or at Chelmsford. A good pace, better race, also much more likely to suit him, and there's plenty more. And again, a horse that I mentioned previously, Star Shiva, is going to be my long shot of 14-1. Hopefully he's well enough handicapped now to get back to winning ways, back over a course and distance that he's previously won over himself, and hopefully he has more to offer for the Mick Appleby yard, who he has only had 3 starts for, and obviously a return to this trip should hopefully see him in a better light as well. Right, they are all of our best bets for this weekend, so a big thank you to Declan and to Sam for all of their hard work, their adaptability, their versatility, and all of the above, as of course we did have plenty of our cards mixed up. A big thank you to you at home for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend. We'll be back at the same time next week to preview Trials Day at Cheltenham, as well as the best of the action at Doncaster.